You wake up when your body's ready. No alarm, no schedule, no place you need to be. For 99% of human history, this wasn't a vacation day. This was every single day for 290,000 years. Your ancestors worked 15 hours a week. You work 40. They were taller than you. Their teeth were straighter than yours. Their bones held more iron than yours. And the most haunting part of this entire story is not what they had. It is what they did with the rest of their time. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how a normal human being spent a normal day before anyone on Earth had ever heard the word job. And I am going to give you one detail near the end that explains why you sometimes wake up at 3 in the morning, panicked for no reason at all. When the anthropologist Marshall Sahlins first tried to publish this in 1972, the academic world refused to believe him. They said the numbers must be wrong. They weren't. And the data he had gathered would quietly destroy the most basic story we tell ourselves about progress. Sahlins studied hunter-gatherer groups still living the old way in the deserts of Australia and southern Africa. He timed them. He measured them. He counted every hour of work they actually did to survive. The number he came back with was so small that his peers thought he had made a mistake. 15 hours a week, 20 at most. That was it. For comparison, the average modern worker spends roughly 40 hours at a job, and another 15 hours commuting, prepping, or recovering. Ancient humans did less than half of that, and they were not scraping by. They were eating better, sleeping longer, and walking through landscapes you would pay thousands of dollars to visit on holiday. Sahlins called them the original affluent society. The academic establishment laughed at him for a decade. But then, the bones started speaking. Across hundreds of archaeological digs, the same pattern kept appearing. Skeletons of pre-agricultural humans were taller, stronger, and showed fewer signs of disease than the skeletons of the early farmers who replaced them. Their teeth were straighter. Their joints showed less wear. Their bones held more iron. The moment humans switched to farming, average height dropped by nearly 6 inches and stayed there for thousands of years. The story we were told is that agriculture lifted humanity up. The bones tell a different story. Agriculture made us shorter, sicker, and harder working, and we did it to ourselves. So, if ancient humans only worked 15 hours a week, what filled the rest of their day? The evidence is hiding in plain sight, scattered across every continent on Earth. In the Blombos Cave in South Africa, archaeologists found shell beads carefully drilled with thin bone tools and worn as necklaces. They are 100,000 years old, not for survival, for decoration. In a cave in southern Germany, researchers pulled a flute carved from the wing bone of a vulture out of the dirt. 40,000 years old, 5 precise finger holes, playable today. In Lascaux, in Indonesia, in Australia, ancient humans climbed into the deepest pitch-black chambers of caves they could find, lifted torches above their heads, and painted galloping animals onto the walls. You do not make jewelry when you are starving. You do not carve a flute when you are dying. You do not crawl into the belly of a mountain to paint a horse if your every waking thought is survival. These objects are physical proof of something the textbooks rarely admit. Ancient humans had time, a staggering amount of it. So, what did a normal day actually look like? Imagine waking up slowly in a shelter of branches and skins, with no clock anywhere in the world that could tell you what time it was. You stretch. You walk to a fire that someone else is already tending. You eat whatever was gathered or hunted the day before. You spend a few hours with the group searching for food. Some days you find it in 20 minutes. Some days it takes longer. By early afternoon, the day's work is over. The hours after that belong to you. You sit in the shade, you repair a tool, you teach a child how to track, you sing, you sleep, you watch the sky. Anthropologists who lived with surviving hunter-gatherer groups recorded in detail what their afternoons and evenings looked like. They averaged about 6 hours a day in pure social time, telling stories, grooming each other, laughing, arguing, falling in love. 6 hours every day, every person, for 290,000 years. And then comes the detail almost no one knows. Ancient humans did not sleep the way you sleep. They went to bed shortly after dark, slept for about 4 hours, and then woke up in the middle of the night. For 1 or 2 hours, they sat with the fire, talked quietly, made love, prayed, or thought about nothing at all. Then they lay down again and slept until dawn. It is called the two-sleep pattern. Historians have found written references to it in nearly every pre-industrial culture on Earth. Then, artificial light arrived, and in less than 200 years, an instinct humans had carried for hundreds of thousands of years was wiped from our memory. If you have ever woken at 3 in the morning, wide awake, unable to sleep, and panicked because something must be wrong, nothing is wrong. Your body is still trying to live the old way. It does not know that the world has changed. About 10,000 years ago, in one valley near the Tigris and Euphrates, somebody planted a seed on purpose. It grew. It worked. It was the beginning of agriculture. It was also the beginning of the end of free time. Farming required more hours, not fewer. It required staying in one place. It required storing grain. And once you had grain, you needed somebody to guard it. And once you had guards, you needed somebody to lead them. And once you had leaders, you needed taxes. And once you had taxes, you needed records. And once you had records, you needed scribes. And once you had scribes, you had work. Real, repetitive, daily work with no end. The hunter-gatherer worked 15 hours a week and slept under the stars. The farmer worked dawn to dusk and woke up tired. We did not invent civilization because it was easier. We invented it because we couldn't go back. For 290,000 years, humans woke up when their bodies were ready. They worked when food was needed. They rested when it wasn't. They sang. They slept twice. They watched the fire burn down. Then, a single grain of wheat changed everything. We traded long mornings for alarm clocks, cave paintings for spreadsheets, 6 hours of conversation for 30 minutes of scrolling, the stars for the ceiling tiles. And most of us have no idea what we gave up.